Hello everyone on YouTube, it is a pleasure for me to stay here and now with you sharing this video, so let's begin with me. My name is Brenda Ivonne Rivera, I'm 21 years old and I study Bachelor degree of Arts in English at Tecnológica University of El Salvador. If you don't know, El Salvador is a really beautiful country, so I invite you to come. And you must be wondering why am I here? And the reason is because this is a video task about liberal and social theories. By the way, thanks to my professor for making this possible, so now I had to talk about it. And let's begin with the following. Kant and peace. Liberal theories of fire try to explain how peace and cooperation are possible, and why not to mention the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, who 200 years ago gave three answers. The first one based on the reciprocity principle, and it is about that states could develop their organizations and rules to facilitate cooperation, specifically by forming a world federation resembling today's United Nations. Remember that reciprocity principle means mutual cooperation, and a good example for it could be like the United Nations, which helps to regulate behaviors among countries. The second one says that peace depends on the character of governments. And Kant argued with this question that citizens of any country deserve hospitality in any other country. It is consistent with the reciprocity principle. And the third one is that trade promotes peace, relies on the perception that trade increases wealth, cooperation, and global well-being, all while making conflict less likely in the long term because governments will not want to disrupt any process that adds to the wealth of their state. With this, they will find that they become mutually dependent on one another for goods. This mutual dependence between states is referred to as economic interdependence. Liberal institutionalism is about union of institutions based on reciprocity. Liberal theories treat rational actors as capable of foregoing short-term individual interests in order to further the long-term well-being of a community to which they belong, and hence indirectly their own well-being. It is also based on Kant's first answer to the question of how peace can evolve, namely the ability of states to develop and follow mutually advantageous rules, with international institutions to monitor and enforce them. Kant argued that states, although autonomous, could join a worldwide federation like today's UN and respect its principles even at the cost of foregoing certain short-term individual gains. To Kant, international cooperation was a more rational option for states than resorting to war. International regimes. Achieving good outcomes is not simple though, because of the contradictory interpretations that parties to a conflict usually have. It is difficult to resolve conflicts without a third party to arbitrate or an overall framework to set common expectations for all parties. And for this we have regimes that can help to solve collective goods problems by increasing transparency because everyone knows what everyone else is doing. Cheating is riskier. Because regimes depend on state power for their enforcement, some IR scholars argue that regimes are most effective when power in the international system is most concentrated, when there is a hegemon to keep order. International regimes are a set of rules, norms, and procedures, not always codified into institutions, that govern the behavior of actors in IR. So, in conclusion, International regimes are set of rules in order to control the behaviors of the actors. The democratic peace. Kant argued that lasting peace would depend on states becoming republics, with legislatures to check the power of monarchs or presidents to make war. One theory that they considered is that democracies are generally more peaceful than authoritarian governments. But this turned out not to be true. Democracies fight as many wars as do authoritarian states. But what is true about democracies is that although they fight wars against authoritarian states, democracies almost never fight each other. And upsurge of democratic movements throughout the world in recent years testify to the power of the idea of democracy because democracies rarely fight each other. Worldwide democratization might lead to lasting peace. Gender in war and peace. Men and women experience war differently, so it is essential to know and understand the impact of gender roles in conflict and post-conflict situations. Men are the ones who are more involved in wars and women are more peaceful. Studies have shown that males are the primary combatants in warfare, and females see that as a masculine activity. There is a male sex hormone called testosterone. Biologists think that this hormone developed means aggression because of its connection with the aggressive of animals, but this has not connection with the aggression of men because the kind of aggression comes from the cultural environment and it is not biological at all. What women do in case of war is to provide logistical support and do the necessary to bring wars to an end. Women have made and organizations to work for peace on many occasions. For example, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, which has brought many rights and benefits, but some organizations didn't work good at all, like the UNA, which brought shame and disorder to the society. In conclusion, it is very important for us to know where history and theories come from. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye!